said, I just entertained an angel.
Hallelujah.
I said, Lord, thank you. Thank you. It was just a split moment. You see, because when the angels manifest like that, they're not there for a long period of time.
That's right.
They're not there for long. It's a short period of time, short window that you and I would have interaction with them. And there are some of you that sit here tonight, you've had these type of interactions with individuals and you did not know and realize you was entertaining an angel. Wow. Wow. Abraham and the three messengers, Genesis chapter 18, verses 1 to 10. Verse 1 to 10. And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Magee, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day, and he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, three men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself towards the ground, and said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread. Look at this, he's going to get bread. I will fetch a morsel of bread and comfort your hearts. After that you shall pass on. In other words, let me minister to you guys before you pass on. Let me feed y'all right quick.
Yes.
And then after I feed you guys, you can go on your way. Amen. He doesn't realize who he's talking to just yet. And I will fetch a morsel of bread and comfort your hearts. After that you shall pass on. For therefore you come to your servants. And they said, So do as thou hast said. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes up on the hearth. And Abraham ran up unto the herd and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto a young man, and he hastened to dress it. And he took butter and milk, there's that buttermilk, and the calf which he had dressed, and set, listen at this now, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. So now here's 3 men that just show up out of nowhere to talk to Abraham. He goes and gets them food, sits them down under a tree, makes them a meal, and they're sitting there eating this meal, just like regular folk. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? That's kind of interesting. Why are you looking for my wife? I don't know y'all like that. And they said unto him, Where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, Behold, in the tent. Verse 10. And he said, I will certainly, here's one of the angels, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind him. So these 3 angels came to Abraham to give him a message, to let him know that his wife Sarah was going to give birth to a child, which was a part of the covenant that God had promised Abraham. But Abraham had no idea that he was talking to 3 angels, because they looked like regular men so much that he decided to feed them, and they were sitting there eating. Wonder who you had lunch with today. Could have been one of these angels. Number 2, the second example. Y'all here? The second example, Lot and the 2 angels. Lot and the 2 angels. Just want to give y'all some examples of this, okay? Lot and the 2 angels. Lot and the 2 angels. This is Genesis chapter 19. So we saw one example in Genesis 18. Now one chapter over, Genesis 19. And we'll look at verse 1. We'll start with verse 1. Genesis 19, verse 1. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even. And Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face towards the ground. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house. Same thing Abraham did, right? And tarry all night and wash your feet, and you shall rise up early and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them, I like this, and he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, or they went into his place, and entered into his house, and he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. Sounds just like the story with Abraham. Abraham had 3 angels, now Lot's dealing with 2. These 2 angels show up to Lot's area, he sees them, runs to them, bow down, and says, Hey, you guys come on and stay with me. And they said, No, we're going to stay in the street. He said, No, you come on and stay with me. And he feeds them, and now they're eating. Verse 4, but before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house, or surrounded the house round, around, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, listen at this, where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them or have sexual relationship with them. Are y'all getting this? Here are the demonic people of Sodom, and they see these two men, mother, come to Lot, and they think, just like Lot, that they're just regular people, and don't realize they are entertaining angels unaware. Let's see how the angel handled this, because it gets good. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men? Where are the men? Not the angels, where are the men? They were in human form. Where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door unto them and shut the door after him and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out to you. And do ye to them as is good in your eyes. You got to be kidding me. See, this just shows you how far backslidden Lot was. That's a whole nother message, but it just shows you that. Y'all see that? Okay. He says, let me bring them out unto you, and do ye unto them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men, not angels, these men do nothing. For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, now the angels step up now, and they said, stand back. They're getting ready to step up, watch this. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now we will deal worse with thee than with them. That's what the men of the city Sodom said. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. Verse 10 is what I like. But the men put forth their hand, these are the angels, and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. Yeah, but society wants you to think that the angels are tiny little babies wearing diapers with little wings. And here we see the angels had enough of all that foolishness. The angels had enough of all that sin. The angels said, hold on, Lot, we got this. You come on back here. You come on back here. They pulled Lot back into the house, closed the door, and the angels smote the rest of the people with blindness.
Lord, I thank you.
It's amazing. It's amazing how they were entertaining angels and didn't even know it. You and I have done the same exact thing over the years. I think it's interesting, the person that you see pushing a shopping cart with all that stuff in it that looked like they hobos could actually be an angel that manifested just prior to you reaching that scene.
Wow.
To see what you're going to do.
Wow.
Are you going to be the church, or are you just going to walk on by? I think it's real interesting. I think it's interesting that you can actually be in a supermarket and you're behind someone who's checking out and they don't have enough money, Cliff, to buy their items, and yet you have more than enough to extend your hand and to be a blessing to a stranger. And you don't even realize that that was perhaps an angel that manifested himself right in front of you before you got to that checkout.
Wow.
I don't know about you, but that does something, Pastor. It makes me want to be a lot more sensitive when I'm talking with individuals, when I'm talking with strangers, when I'm talking with people that I don't know personally, but as I'm communicating with them, I want to make sure that I'm sensitive enough, Mother, to let my guard down, because initially, when I meet a stranger, I got my guard up because I don't know this person. I don't know what they're going to try. I don't know what they're going to pull. I don't know what type of hustle they're trying to run. I don't know what type of game they're trying to run. But Deaconess, throughout the conversation, at some point, I'm pretty sure the Holy Spirit is saying, you can power down now. This is an opportunity for you to be a blessing, because perhaps you are entertaining an angel unaware that you did not know. It's amazing. It's amazing. We can actually have someone stop by our house, knock on our door and say, hey, excuse me, can I use your telephone? Excuse me, can you give me some gas money? And we slam the door just to look out a few seconds later and they disappear. The second example, or the next example, is Joshua and the captain of the Lord of hosts. Joshua and the captain of the Lord of hosts. You all right?
Yeah.
Joshua and the captain of the Lord of hosts. Go to Joshua chapter 5. Joshua chapter 5. I think it's profound to have an angel manifest himself before you.
Amen.
Amen. And then you got to ask yourself the question, Lord God, why would you allow that to happen to me? Isn't that right? Some of y'all look scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. No, don't be scared. How many of y'all had experiences like this? Okay. Praise the Lord. Maybe one day what we'll do, one service, we'll just let a couple of you guys come up and tell your example. I had one of the members on Sunday at the cookout after I had taught the first message. She pulled me to the side and she said, Pastor, I just wanted to give you one of my stories about an angel underwear. I said, sure. So I love to hear stories like this. And she was telling me she was actually in a course that she was taking. And she was studying for this course, and it was a difficult course. And there was a couple of students in this class. And she noticed there was this one particular gentleman that was sitting across from her, always sat across from her at the class. And one day as she was studying, that gentleman came over to her and said, I can help you with this if you let me. And she was looking at him and said, well, I really don't know you, but he said, I'm in your class, and I can help you with this. And she said, okay, so they started studying a little bit together, and when it was time for her to take the test, she made a good grade on the test. Well, she went back to class, I think she said about 3 days later, to go look for this individual, to thank this individual for studying with her and helping her. And when she went back, she could not find this individual. She started asking some of her classmates, you know that guy that has this type of hair and wears this all the time? And they was like, no, we never seen that person. She went to the teacher and said, surely you can have it on your roster that there's a person that's in this class. He always sits in this seat. And the teacher went down on the roster and said, no, I don't have anybody named like that. She said she went to the dean and asked the dean about this person's enrollment, and the school had no record of this individual whatsoever. And I looked at her as we was out there and I said, wow, I said, what an encounter. She said, Pastor, I was so nervous. She said, when I found out this person was not even in class, she said, I didn't know it then, but as you was teaching, I realized that was an angel that was assisting me. I said, wow, praise God. Praise God. Star Wars don't have nothing on the Bible. Star Wars, Star Trek don't have nothing on the Bible. And we are living in the time, the last days, where we're going to start having more angelic visitations like this. Okay? Joshua chapter 5. Are you guys there? Joshua 5. Look at verse 13. I like this example too. Joshua 5:13. And it came to pass, listen to this, you guys. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, art thou for us or for our adversaries? And he said, nay or no, but as captain of the host of the Lord am I now come. In other words, he's an angel that was manifested. Said, but as captain of the host of the Lord am I now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship and said unto him, what saith my Lord unto his servant? And the captain of the Lord host said unto Joshua, loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. I like this story because Joshua was a man of war. I mean, he was a scrapper. And the Bible says that he saw a man standing there, my brother, with a sword drawn. And instead of Joshua running from this guy, he ran to him. And he ran to him and it was like, hey, are you for us or are you for our adversaries? Joshua was ready to scrap because this guy looked like a normal man. But then he told Joshua, no, I'm not on either side. I'm here as the captain of the Lord's host. The word host is another name for angels. He says, I'm here as the captain of the Lord's host for the Lord's angels. Wow. Wow. And that's wild spelled backwards. Hallelujah. Let me show you another one. Isn't this exciting? Let me give you another one. Jacob wrestling with a man. Jacob wrestling with a man. Jacob wrestling with the man. Let's go to Genesis 32. Genesis 32. Just giving you guys some case in points of angels, entertaining angels unaware. Okay? And it's not always someone that you see per se homeless. It could be someone that you're working with. It could be someone that you're in a restaurant and they're sitting at a table across from you and you think it's a regular person, but it's actually an angel there. Isn't that something? Yeah. That's something. You know, I was in a restaurant. I was in a restaurant last night. This is funny. I was in a restaurant last night near First Lady Magee, and after we had our meal, as we were leaving, I stood up to fix my shirt and all that, and I noticed the guy sitting at the table behind us. It was him and two other ladies, and he just kept staring at me. And he was just staring, and he was just staring, and he was just staring. And as we got ready to walk out, I looked at him. I said, "Excuse me." I said, "Do I know you?" And he looked at me, and he had a puzzled look on his face. He said, "Do you work over there at Radio Shack?" I said, "No, I don't work at Radio Shack." He said, "Okay," because I was just over at Radio Shack, and I was staring at you. He said, "Please forgive me, I apologize." He said, "But I was staring at you because you look like somebody that was just over there at Radio Shack." I said, "No, I don't work at Radio Shack." He said, "Okay." He said, "Please forgive me for saying." I said, "No, that's all right, man." I walked out, and I thought to myself, you got to check, because you never know. I wanted to make sure I wasn't dealing with an angel unaware. If he was staring at me, boy, I was going to have to hook him up. In a good way, in a good way, in a good way. Hallelujah. I want to make sure, listen, I want to make sure I pass the test. You know, now this is funny now. It's funny, but this is real life stuff. I want to make sure I pass the test. Whenever I encounter someone and I'm not sure, I want to make sure that I'm being sensitive. Lord, if this is an angel that has manifested itself, I want to make sure that he finds me being the church. Genesis chapter 32. Are you guys there? Genesis 32. This is Jacob wrestling with a man. Watch this. Genesis 32, verse 24. Let's start there. Verse 24. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man. See, I love this verse later. And there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. In other words, this angel was wrestling with Jacob, and Jacob was wrestling this angel so tough that the angel didn't realize, I can't beat this boy. And the only way I'm going to be able to beat this boy is I got to hook him up. And he touched him, and he knocked his hip out of place. Well, I'll tell you, I love the Bible, man. Boy, this is awesome. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, now this is Jacob, and he said, the angel, and he said, let me go for the daybreak. That's what the angel said, excuse me. And he said, I will not let thee go. This is Jacob. I will not let thee go except thou bless me. See, Jacob realized this is not just a normal man I'm wrestling with. He said, I will not let you go except thou bless me. And he said unto him, what is thy name? This is what the angel asked. And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. Yes. See, here's an angel that manifested himself in human form to give him a message. That's powerful, y'all. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. And Jacob asked him and said, tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, wherefore is it that thou dost ask after my name? What you want to know my name for? And he blessed him there, and listen at this, and Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, which means, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Wow. He said, man, I've seen God face to face. Man, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking I'm wrestling with a man, and I'm actually wrestling with an angel. I'm actually wrestling with an angel. And you got to give Jacob his props, because he was handling that boy too. You got to give him his props, because he was handling it. And the angel realized, I can't beat this guy, because the sun is coming up, and I got to get up out of here. And so he touched him up and knocked his hip out of socket. And Jacob said, I realize now what I'm dealing with. I'm not going to let you go until you bless bless me.
Amen.
May God bless me before you get out of here.
That's right. Thank you, Jesus.
Interesting that the Bible has all these different accounts of people talking to, wrestling with angels unaware